Hello everyone, today I'm going to introduce a speech. And as everyone knows that I'm a Chinese student. So when I first came to United States, my uh, ELS English teacher showed me a TED Talk, which influenced me a lot. And the topic of that TED Talk is called How to Get Your Brain to Focus. As we know that it's pretty important to make your brain to focus, especially when we do our study or our own work. It's pretty important that can much easier to make our brain to focus and can improve the speed of work a lot. So first I'm going to introduce the author's information. The author's name is called Chris Beatty, and he's a writer. One of his famous book is called Hyperfocus, and this speech, the listener is the person who wants to improve themselves. So as we know that with the technology improve pretty fast, nowadays the cell phone or maybe the computer has become the most important part in our daily life, right? Every day when we wake up and then we watch the cell phone and we use the cell phone to connect to each other. So that the authors think that the cell phone is the key important make our brain cannot focus. So he make a test that he only spend 30 minutes on his cell phone per day, and this time include to call their parents and maybe listen to music or watch the TV and watch the email. So all this stuff included in 30 minutes, and he makes this test. At the first time, he thinks this really boring, but after maybe 1 week, he found that three things it changed. The first one is attention span, and the second one is more ideas, and the third one is called more plans. So why does this change happen? One sentence in his speech I put it like it's called 40 seconds of focus before we distribute. We can pretty easily find that in our daily life, especially for me. I like every time when I want to do my stuff, like maybe write a paper or maybe review the stuff that today I learned. But when I sit on my computer, and I feel like why is so boring, and then I start like watching the email or maybe watch the YouTube and watch the sports news, which I pretty like, so that I cannot focus on my writing or maybe on my paper. Um, the reason why of that happens is because that the brain will give us reward, like in a picture that because the cell phone, the email and other stuff that our brain is in high activities, so that and the brain will give us the rewards when we watch those stuff. So and these rewards will make us happy. So that's the reason, like when we feel comfortable, when we watch those emails. But when we like do our stuff, when we want to try to focus, and we feel pretty boring. So they also think that what about if I live away from those internet and maybe those cell phones and see what's gonna happen? And the first time, he's the first time, like after 8 days, so that he tried to make his brain like in low activities, and this called the boredom, and he did it. And when he's brain in low activities, so that he found it's much easier to focus because there's no like rewards from your brain like to encourage you to do other stuff. And because there are few extra similitude to the mind, it's easier to focus. That's the reason why we much easier to focus when we leave those cell phones. And the summary. The author said one sentence that we need to make change to ensure that we focus, reduce irritation, and stay away from mobile phones. I think it's pretty important, especially for nowadays, that every day we spend time on cell phone. And in the speech that the author and his wife, they did the stuff that every Sunday they don't watch the cell phone and they just uh, get away from the internet and return back to the physics world. And that's much easier to focus, especially for me. After I watch this video for those maybe 5 years, every night I turn off my cell phone and then go to bed, think about the stuff which I learned today, and think about the future, what I'm going to do tomorrow, and maybe like 1 month. And after that, I find it's much easier for me to focus, and it really can improve me a lot. So that's what is it? That's the stuff this speech teach me. Thank you so much.